Here now is Missouri Republican Congressman Eric Burlison, who's a member of House Oversight, joins us now from Capitol Hill. Welcome. This issue isn't going away, and the mayors will come up. And what changes, if anything? This has been something that we've talked about for years, relationship between the federal government and some of the sanctuary cities run, almost entirely by Democrats. But, nothing's changed. But are we on the precipice of something actually being different?
Yeah, there's one thing that bureaucrats listen to, and that's money. And so when Pam Bondi is looking to pull back and withhold some funds to these cities, I think that it should get these mayors' attention. And so we want to bring the mayors of some of the more egregious cities. I know Chairman Comer has invited them to come to our committee so that we can ask them about the impact of their policies, their sanctuary policies, on not only the people in their city, but the American people.
Well, it's interesting because, like Mayor Adams here in New York, we were here in New York, so maybe we follow more closely. But still, also because of the political news surrounding the mayor and kind of his relationship, such as it is with the president, he comes out and says stuff like, well, I don't really love these policies, but I have to enforce them because they're the policies, right? And whatever the motivation on his end is, I'm not sure. But that is the issue, right, for these mayors, is that it's their laws, right, that they're kind of putting in place. So that I don't know how they would get out of that, so to speak.
Yeah. Whether it's the mayor that's promoting these policies, or they're acting on behalf of elected aldermen or council members, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if that city is going to stop ICE, and look, there's a difference between the anti-commandeering doctrine, where you've got states that say we're just not going to help you in your effort. That's one thing altogether. But these cities are shielding. They're actually aiding and abetting this illegal activity, and this is a responsibility of the federal government. It's not one of the 10th Amendment responsibilities. It's not a state's responsibility. It's responsibility of the federal government. They can't tell us that we cannot continue to perform our function and role.
What would you say about the first few weeks of the Trump administration, specifically on this issue, immigration, cracking down? I think we have numbers in terms of arrests that have been made by ICE. And on the one hand, you say, well, they've been much more aggressive, certainly, and that is true, and we've seen the numbers go up. On the other hand, some people say, well, how much of this is just for show? And are we really just kind of going back, as I heard someone the other day say, to kind of what the Obama administration was doing? In other words, it's not that out of the ordinary. Is what we've seen, in your view, out of the ordinary these last few weeks?
I think that we're definitely seeing an escalation. Trump is someone who prides himself on delivering on his campaign promises, and it's been very clear that he has gotten busy very quickly to do that. And look, while you may have some high-profile events where you're targeting people and that's all over the news, what that does do is sends a message all over the country to everyone that's watching, and every illegal immigrant in this country is going to see that and start questioning whether they should deport themselves back rather than face the music the way they're watching on TV.
No, the language used was every illegal immigrant. So you would expect, and I think this is what the administration has talked about, they just have not given us specifics yet, Tom Homan and the like, for this to go beyond targeting people who have criminal histories. At how far do you personally expect this to go?
I think that they've made it clear these last few weeks that someone who is here illegally is committing a crime, that they are committing a felony in and of itself. And so I think that at the end of the day, you've got to focus on the top priorities, and that's people that have not only entered here illegally, but are committing violent crimes. That should be obviously the top priority. But I think at the end of the day, we need to enforce the rule of law and make sure that people know that you can't come here, get in line. I personally am of the opinion that we should make it easier for people to come here legally. We need to clean up the paperwork process and streamline it. But we do not need to be allowing people to come here and ignoring the laws.
It might be an issue to discuss within the conference, but it's interesting some Republicans see that, especially with the high-skilled immigrants, which we've seen with tech companies and the like. That last comment. Thank you, Congressman. Congressman Eric Burlison, live from Capitol Hill.